Hello and welcome to Caching Waves. This is your update for Bitcoin. Now we've been tracking this correction for quite a while and been tracking it okay. The pattern keeps changing, keeps giving us slightly more upside. So I have to adjust these targets once we make a new high. If we make a new high here, we might be tracking closer to 23K as the pivot. Low in the bear market, depending on where this correction ends. But I'll show you on the daily, on the 4 hour, my count here had 5 waves down as a leading diagonal, wave 2 up, then had 5s down to the 1.618 extension of that wave 1, had a deep retracement for our wave 4, and 5 waves down, basically made a slightly new low as a double bottom. We then had an expanded flat as W wave, complex correction for our X, and looking to complete our Y wave here. Currently looks like we could have potentially a flat as an A, B, 5 waves up to complete for our C, but I'll show you that down at the lower time frames. Let's go down to the 15-minute. If you saw my last video, I suggested getting in a long trade here, which is what I'm doing. Again, not financial advice. This is just what I'm doing. Originally, we saw these 5 waves down, and we wanted this to collapse if we were getting an impulse. And I also said if we just get 3 waves, look for this to be a complex correction. This Y wave only came to the 0.618 extension of this first wave, but it's the minimum required to consider to complete. And we also came between the 50 and the 618 of this first proposed A wave on a larger trend. So looking for this to create more upside, protecting this low here, and just waiting for this wave to fill out our Y wave. Now we can get 3 or 5 waves here. We could get a double 3 to complete, and this could be an A, B. We come up for 5 to complete. But as for targeting on this, I'm going to be taking profit at the latest around 29,000, because this wave is pretty difficult to figure out what's going on here, just because everything's so complex. If you look at the last month, it was a very difficult correction to get a good count out of. Even this one here, we had a 3, we had a zigzag and another zigzag. Very difficult to lean into this count in any way. But currently, I believe we're in this area. Last video, I mentioned I was going to pull the fibs from there. I hope you just adjusted them yourself. If you're following along, I just adjusted the pivots up to when the actual high was. We extended a little bit up. And I am currently long with 1/3 of my position filled. I bought at the 382, so I got 1/3 of my position right here, have another 1/3 here, and another 1/3 here. Hard to see if this is a 3 or a 5 wave. It could be an ABC. Could be a small wave 2 down on the micro, but it looks like a 3 wave to me. So currently it looks like we have a 5 wave down, complex correction here, and we'll probably get another wave down to between the 50 and the 618 on this one before attempting new highs. If you're very ambitious, you can look to take a little short there. I'm just gonna, for the purposes of this video, leave my buys at that level. But if you're very ambitious, you could go down to like the 5-minute, get the extension of that first wave for the 3rd, and try and take this trade. But for purposes of the video, it's way too micro for me to give any advice on that scenario. So currently long. This is my current entry. Stop is at this low down here, targeting that 29,000. As you can see, the risk reward isn't that great at the moment, less than 2 to 1. But if I'm able to get those lower buys, we'll get a much better setup. So it's unclear how this wave is going to fill out. It does appear the direction is up to me, at least to this level, 29,000, where we run into all this resistance over here and expecting the downtrend to resume after that's complete. One other thing you need to be aware of is if we just get a slightly new high, this whole thing can turn into a larger correction where we get 5 waves down as a flat before coming up to this area. And that would be a 3, 3, 5 to the downside. So if we make any sort of higher high, I would probably move my stop to my entry point, break even, just to make sure I don't fall into that trap. And if that happens, then I'd look to buy once the pattern filled out again. So if this comes up, we come down, make 5, I would look to rebuy in this area to the upside, because I would assume the correction is not done still, just this area got bigger. I made it clear that I'm a little suspect of this wave. Again, it can be considered complete, but it didn't come to the most common area, which is the 1-to-1 extension of this first wave. We were looking for the buy down here, didn't get it. So this could all be a correction in itself before we make that move down and come up. So if we make a new higher high above this one, above this one, I'll move my stop to break even. So it's a completely free trade, looking to take profit at the 29,000, at which point I will look for a short setup, and I'll make sure to update that video once we're there. But I am long currently, expecting it to come down to these levels before more upside. We may get it, we may not, we shall see. But currently 1/3 filled, looking to target front running the 618 at around 29,000. All right, guys, that's your update for Bitcoin. Thanks for watching.